Hello there, and welcome to the very first episode of Resetting the Standard. I am so excited to get this going finally. It has been something that has been in my head that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and I'm very excited to get it going. The first few episodes, I'm probably going to use notes, just so you know, because I'm new to this. So bear with me for a little while. But I created this podcast to create a space where I hope that it will help us to stop shaming good men and start honoring truth in relationships and bring respect back to the conversation. I'm your host, Valerie. I am a wife, patriot, and I am the founder of a company I own, the Trad-ish Alliance. The Trad-ish Alliance is a space that I created that I hope that we can come together as wives or potential wives, people who want to learn how to respect their husbands, create a better relationship from her perspective. Yes, the men have their work that they need to do, but this is a space where us women can do and make their lives a little bit better and make everybody happy. If you're tired of the noise and you're ready to get back to real love and real respect, can't wait to have you. I will be doing some solo, some with some guests that I have lined up, and then hopefully many more guests to come. I hope you enjoy it. I want to start this first episode out by dedicating it to Charlie Kirk for quite a few reasons, but he was a man of conviction. He was a father. And in a world that tried so hard to shrink men, he stood very tall and spoke truth, which I really admired about him. Loved watching his videos because he reminded me and many other people that being a hard worker and a good husband and a good father is something that's around it for. And I just think that I think speaking still matters, and speaking up for what we believe in matters, whether we disagree with each other or not. I think having a conversation is super important. I actually pulled a quote that I want to read to you. When people stop talking, really bad stuff happens. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilizations stop talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having human connection with those you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against them. What we as a culture should get back to is being able to have reasonable disagreements. Violence is not an option. And I really like this quote because it's exactly what he was trying to do with his going to college campuses and podcasts, and just to keep the conversation open. This he was really passionate about. And it's something that I want with this podcast. I would like conversation to be open. But what I will say, if you do disagree and you want to have a conversation in the comments, that's absolutely welcome. But the nasty calling me names and anybody else in the comments, I really ask that we just don't do that. We have civil dialogue. We explain our differences and just have a good conversation. Hello there, friends. Future Valerie here. I went to Charlie Kirk's memorial with my husband this weekend and really just wanted to include my thoughts on that. I thought about redoing the entire episode, but this felt a little more genuine, and being that this episode was dedicated to Charlie Kirk, it definitely needed to be added in here because it's hard to explain my words. I really had to sit down and focus last night in order to get my ideas out, but it was absolutely amazing. When we first got there, after of course cooling off because we were dying of heat, once we got our seat and sat down, just looking around the stadium and seeing 60,000 plus people in one area, first of all, for somebody like me from a very small town, is a bit overwhelming to begin with. But then when you think about what brought them together, it was absolutely amazing. And to see everybody worshiping and just the love we felt in that room there's no explanation. I've never felt anything like it. I've never experienced anything like it. You've seen it. Like, I keep thinking about all the documentaries I've seen, like JFK or Martin Luther King, and how, the memorials and stuff. And I always thought it was like, oh, okay, that's moving. It's so cool. But to be a part of that piece of history and see it happening in real time was something I can't explain. I really can't I can't explain that part. But what I can tell you is a couple of things that really just kind of hit home for me. One of the biggest things was Erica Kirk's challenge to women. Obviously, Erica Kirk entire speech was absolutely amazing. And if you haven't watched it yet, I highly suggest you do. It was extremely powerful, very emotional. Um, and of course, those famous words that honestly will go down in history as absolutely famous words. But her challenge to women was be virtuous. Our strength is found in God's design for our role. We are the guardians, we are the encouragers, we are the preservers. Guard your heart, everything flows from it. And I love this because it's exactly what my idea is for this podcast, right? It's exactly what I'm trying to exude. I loved Charlie Kirk because he was so good at articulating, and honestly, I'm not the best at articulating my words, which is why doing a podcast has been so scary for me for so long. Um, but I'm trying to put my words on paper, and having people come in here and like talk with me, and the conversations that I have with women, even when I was standing in the crowd waiting to get inside, we were all dying of heat. I met this cute girl. She was absolutely adorable. Her name was Holly. She's supposed to be watching this, so hopefully you're watching this. Hi. We got to talking, and it was about like there are still good men in the world, and she unfortunately has a story that's not so great at the moment, but she hasn't given up hope. And that's kind of the point, is like if we play our role properly, men can play their roles even better. So Tucker Carlson also said that real change starts with repentance. It starts with you. And obviously his quote was much longer than that, but that was kind of the gist of what he was saying. And I really love that, because the whole point in this is if we can make ourselves just that much better, our husbands can show up better for us. If we can show up better for them, they can do better for us. It's the same idea as like personal growth. If I can learn to deal with my anger better, it creates less problems between Sean and I. Because yes, things might bother me that he does, but I don't need to get angry about them all the time. So just things like that. So I really feel like that's extremely important. I also think that it's important in the aspect that we can also show up for each other better as women, as wives, side by side. We can help each other. We can't, you can complain about your husband all you want, but you married him for a reason. So unless, you have a massive reason to leave, most of the time it's worth putting in the work, in my opinion. Not everybody agrees with me, but if you chose to marry the guy, you chose to put up with the crap, right? In sickness and in health. Um, I am extremely grateful that we got to experience this. We are lucky that we live 3.5 hours away, so it wasn't necessarily difficult for us to get there. It was exhausting for us to get there and get home because it was on a Sunday and we had to turn around and go to work the next day. So yesterday was a hard day. My body was very sore, reminded me that it's definitely time to get back to working out and taking care of my body because I'm still sore today. But to be a part of this piece of history is something I'll cherish for a long time, and I'll be that old lady that's like, I win. So uh, I think it's important that we take in these big things and stop going so fast anymore. We run so fast we forget to take in the little things, and this meant a lot to a lot of people, of course, but definitely meant a lot to me, and it made me feel like I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing. So get started. I do also want to add something I wrote down, and I'm going to read it verbatim because it came out very well. And sometimes when I write, which is why I do this, my brain flows better. So it is now that we pick up the mic, pick up his mic. Be brave, be bold, even when it's hard. People need to know the truth. They need to know that they're not alone. All right, I'll let you get back to regular schedule. Those of you who don't know who I am, obviously my name's Valerie. I already said that. I am a businesswoman, a career woman. I've been a wife for 3 years, together with my husband for 11. We've been through a lot in our 11 years. I've been through a lot in my 32 years. And a good chunk of those stories will eventually come in detail. Um, I was raised very independent, very outspoken, very I can do anything without anybody, which I don't believe are bad qualities in a woman when you're single. I think that some of those qualities need to quiet down once you've become a wife to a certain degree, right? Um, my dad raised me to be uh, able to do anything. I didn't need anybody. I also, of course, fell into the feminism movement of I don't need anybody, I don't need a man, and it honestly, unfortunately, created so many issues in the beginning of our relationship that I didn't even really see were issues until I started to kind of pay attention and work on myself. And that's where I say that this podcast is from the perspective of the woman. That's not to say that men don't need to do their job, do their own thing. I understand that. Yes, everybody has to work from both sides. But I think a lot of what society has told us to do is not accurate. They've told us that the man has to do everything. They have to be the romantic one. They have to do this. And yet we don't do anything. And we've kind of lost what it means to be a wife. And so this isn't necessarily just going to be how to be a wife kind of podcast, but it's going to be centered around letting go of that feminine. When I finally let go of that and leaned into being a feminine, nurturing wife, our relationship changed. I changed. And I think that's what I really want to talk about. I kind of went on a tangent there, but um, Sean, without even knowing it, just being the guy that he is and loving me for exactly who I am is what kind of eventually that wall started to drop, right? And a lot of us women, we've been through shitty men and crazy situations, and all of a sudden it becomes, well, all men suck. Well, that's not true. It's just not. And I'm not saying there aren't shitty men in the world. It's not every single one of them. And having one that was willing to give me the time to figure it out was helpful. I don't really think he knew what he was doing either. I think it just kind of happened that way. But I believe that being a partner to somebody means working together and working from each other's strengths. Um, the fact that society tells us that women can do anything a man can do is just not correct. And especially in a relationship, there's the part of the relationship where the man needs to be the man, the masculine, the leading, the stepping up to the plate, the protection. There's so many different directions that like a man's knowledge and emotional point can help us as women, and we can be emotional and we can be crazy sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. I mean, as long as you're being crazy for the right reason, don't go being a bitch just to be a bitch. But that's kind of what our relationship started at. I was that feminism woman. I don't need you. I'm not going to make you a sandwich. And don't get me wrong, I don't jump when he says jump necessarily, but there's a mutual respect there, and there's a totally different feeling when you lean into that feminine and let him be the masculine man that he wants to be for you. Um, I kind of turned away from me about me, but you'll kind of learn quite a bit about me. But that's kind of where this podcast stemmed from, is how I was raised and how I am starting to see it in a different light. And again, kind of backtracking to the beginning, and Charlie Kirk actually helped me see a lot of that as well. And not even see that I need to be a better wife, but understand how I was changing and why I felt the way I felt. Because being able to be that feminine self, it's a feeling I can't explain unless you're a wife and understand it. But the idea behind the podcast is to try and help you get there, right? Try and help you understand yourself a little better and how you can help your husband be all that he can be and you can be all that you can be, I guess. We'll go with that. And let me also just say, this podcast is not meant to bash women or bash men. That's not the idea. Honestly, it's to bash society and the way we've turned in the wrong direction, in my opinion, again. And I think there's tons of people who agree with me, but there are also people who don't agree. But then there's also kind of that middle ground, right? And this is meant for people who have an open mind, who want to learn and see a different point of view and take what you want from it. You don't have to take every single thing I say. You don't have to believe everything I say. But the idea behind the podcast is society has gone way too far one direction. And I want to pull us back to at least somewhere in the middle. Nobody said, well, you have to jump when he says jump. You don't have to make him the sandwich. Everybody's relationship is different. Um, the idea is that there is a space for women and there is a space for men in a relationship. And when we both find that, you come together in the middle and it's absolutely beautiful and smooth-ish. Obviously, everybody has problems. Nobody's going to say that. But there's a space in the middle there that I think society has completely forgotten about because we've gone way too far one direction. So I also will, like I said, I'm going to have some people on. I've actually got my girlfriend Leilani, who has an amazing story, going same kind of direction for me, going from masculine woman to a feminine woman. And I really think you guys are going to enjoy that. I've also got my girlfriend Mariah, who has a very interesting story as well. So I really look forward to hanging out with you guys. I also want to bring in my husband so you guys can actually meet him and see that I am actually married and kind of see the dynamic that's between the two of us. And I've got a couple of interesting questions for him. So let me go grab him and we'll be right back. Hi, friends. Me again, interrupting one more time to bring you today's sponsor, which is the Patriot Box. The Patriot Box is my favorite place for all things non-toxic, affordable, and American made. I have been shopping with them for almost 6 years now, and I can honestly say it's completely changed the way we run our household, from cleaning products and laundry that does not have any chemicals, that is safe for myself and my pets and my husband, of course, as well as skincare, hair care, body care, vitamins that you can actually feel working, to protein shakes that my husband absolutely loves. It has been one of the best transitions we've ever done. We hate Walmart, so it makes it awesome that it also ships right to my door. Now I feel like more than ever, it's extremely important that we not only buy made, but of course, healthy ingredients from our homes. I also love that I'm supporting not only American products, but American jobs as well. If you're tired of worrying about the ingredient labels and still unsure and you're looking for a better way to shop for your family, I would love to show you a tour of the Patriot Box. I can send you a quick tour that show you how it can benefit your family. Just text tour to 928 361 0330. Thanks. Let's get back to the video. Hello, my dear. Look at
Hello.
me. I know you hate this and don't want to be here.
I feel like I should have walked into this segment.
Well, that was kind of the plan, but you were gone.
We got to do something about this.
I can move it away from the wall next time. But I don't know how often I'm actually going to get you to be on here, so.
We'll see.
Well, I appreciate you for doing it anyway. We'll try and make it quick and sweet. So, first question I have for you is, how do you feel about me doing resetting the standard?
I think it's great. I think more people should be doing what you're doing. Talking about how relationships should be and how they've changed from the past for the worst.
Okay. What do you feel has been like misconstrued or changed in relationships in our generation and maybe the next compared to previous?
Roles have they've seemed to blend together. A lot of that has to do with just money, but both people work, both people are expected to kind of do everything. And there's no clear defined roles, which I think leads to confusion and anger in a relationship.
A little bit of resentment, I think,
A little
too.
bit on both sides.
That's an
Because
interesting take.
nobody really, there's no defined roles anymore.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought for a future episode. I never thought about it that way. What do you think husbands need most from their wives these days that maybe they don't get anymore?
Support and balance.
Balance meaning like they're like wifely role balance, or
Yeah, I guess maintaining the balance in the home, um,
which is a feminine role.
and yeah, and making sure that we don't get overwhelmed with work. Maintain a balance of work and personal life. You know, I appreciate you for forcing a personal life upon me as well.
Forcing. That's so mean.
And I mean, I didn't mean it that way.
No, I know. Just giving you a hard time. But I do. I mean, to a degree, because you would stay in this house and do nothing if it wasn't for me.
And I'd be miserable.
You would, but then you'd keep doing it. Because you don't,
But
I don't think you realize how much just like going out and even just like going to dinner on Friday like, makes a difference
mhm.
in your social social interaction is important as a human in general, man or woman. Um, what is something that you would like to say to, I mean, obviously I'm gearing more towards like women audience, but men or women who might be listening. Maybe what do you think they should take from this? What do you think advice needs to be said?
Whatever it is, define your roles early and be vocal about them.
And even if you haven't, if you're already married and you haven't defined your roles, sit down and have that conversation.
Yeah.
Like figure it out, and it might take sitting down multiple times to figure it out. I think we've repositioned our roles. I don't know.
Have to.
Well, we've
A
had
lot.
to a lot for through things, but we've also through, like I was saying earlier, just the fact that I have started to lean more into that feminine. Like I don't, it doesn't uh, offend me to make you a sandwich if you ask me to make you a sandwich. I mean, unless I'm laying on the couch dying from drinking too much alcohol, but otherwise, I would really be interested in knowing your favorite story of the two of us. Maybe something we've been through or just a funny story.
Oh, I think it's hands down the came up with our
I
greatest
was really
gesture.
hoping that's how you'd answer it. So you want to tell the
um,
story?
it was I can't remember the game.
It's called Deep,
Um,
Deeper, and Deepest.
yeah.
We've never played since.
So we didn't need to. We got a great moment out of it. So it was a game that had
It was
it
like
was
decks and
true.
cards. Yeah. So it
It
was
was
like,
like truth, dare,
no, so it was deep, deeper, deepest, and action for your
and
piles. So it's like questions. So
Jan's better memory.
yeah, it's meant to be. I've also told this story a lot. It's meant to be more for like beginning relationships. So it asks questions that like get you kind of talking about things that have happened in your past. And we played like four cards,
Yeah.
maybe. And the one we picked up was action, and the card read pick an action that means something, and then underneath it said example. When you tap your fingers on the table, it means I love you. Well, we were just kind of sitting there trying to figure it out. Well, I love the words I appreciate you. I think it's means more sometimes than just a thank
Hmm.
you. So I just out of nowhere went like this, and I said it means I appreciate you.
We cracked up laughing, and ever since, anytime there's a little tension on either side, we'll do that, and it just ends in laughter.
The best part
It's
was
been great, silly but
the
great.
best one was Walmart because we had to go to Walmart afterwards, and we
Mm.
despise Walmart, both of us together. So every time we like step foot in Walmart, it becomes these stupid little bickerments throughout the whole store. And it was that day we had, I don't remember. Shut up! It is not only. I mean, I'm not.
Should have went.
But it anyway, throughout the whole store, every time and either one of us started to bicker about something, we would just do that. And then immediately we would just start dying laughing, and it just resolved the situation every single time. So it's definitely been an awesome
Pick a
additive to
funny
our
gesture.
relationship. Yeah, pick a funny gesture. I know couples who like when they start to argue about something stupid, they say octopus or just something dumb just to change the situation. So
Yeah.
well, I won't let you what's the word I'm looking for?
Suffer.
Suffer, thank you.
Hmm.
Anymore. You can leave.
I was saying that as a joke.
That was the word I was looking for.
Well,
Also, I will have to say, laugh as often as you possibly can
okay.
with your significant other. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you.
Have fun. See you next time.
I really hope that this episode honored Charlie the way I wanted, and I hope going forward that I honor Charlie the way I planned in speaking up and being able to just have discussions with people. He wasn't perfect, nobody is, but talking keeps us from getting violent, like the original quote said. And I think because he stood for the things he believes in and spoke out, that a lot of lives changed. And I really kind of hope that in doing the same thing here, we can help somebody. Honestly, if this helps just one person, I think it'll be worth it. Let's be the generation that keeps talking and teaches people how to talk to each other without violence. Thank you so much for being on this first episode of Resetting the Standard. I look so much forward to hanging out with you guys again. If this episode stirred something in you, please hit the like button. If you know anybody that it might help or they may just enjoy watching, I would love it if you would share it with them. And of course, subscribe so that you can be here with us next time. You can also join the movement at thetratishalliance.com. I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of things coming, and I really hope that you'd like to be a part of that. You can also follow me on all social media platforms. I do also have a Facebook group that you can join as well, where I'll be doing some behind the scenes discussions and getting ideas, talking to people, just having that kind of behind the scenes discussions. Man, I'll get this eventually. Also, if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, I would absolutely love to have you. I actually have a job form down below. I've got a campsite link that's got all of my links. If you would like to be a guest, I would love for you to fill that out and let's have a discussion. Until next time, I really appreciate you being here. I hope you have a fabulous day.